Having finished my first playthrough of Starfield, I thought it might be helpful to share my favourite weapons that I've used throughout the game. And these may well not be the best weapons you can get. They probably aren't. And I haven't modified them at all, anything like that. They're just how I picked them up. But I've had a lot of fun with these. So let's start off at the top with the Beowulf. Now, this particular one is a semi-automatic 7.7mm. Which only does 40 physical damage, but I tell you what, this thing knocks down enemies really well. Yeah, and it was kind of my go-to weapon for lots and lots of the game. I only really stopped using it when I started to run out of ammunition, which was a bit of a bummer. Now, the Boosted Bridger, this is a grenade launcher, and again, really fantastic. You've just got to watch out when you're in close quarters. Does loads of damage, fairly slow fire rate, but it does fit 6 grenades in it, so it's a bit like a super duper shotgun, to be honest. But yeah, very, very good. When you see one of these, pick one up. Again, when you have the opportunity to buy some ammo for it as well, make sure you buy the ammo, because it comes in very, very useful to do loads of damage. Now, the drum beat, this is fantastic. When you come across a drum beat, pick it up, because it might not seem it does much damage at 14, but that 160 fire rate, as long as it's an automatic version you get and it hasn't been changed to a semi, just melts enemies. Very, very good indeed. Really enjoyed that. Now, this pistol, I didn't use it that much until actually near the end of the game, when I was forced to because I was running out of ammunition. Uses 45. But this one has got a really cool perk on it. Damage increases as health decreases, and I found this was fantastic against robots and Starborn and all sorts of tough enemies. Really, really good to whip out, and I had loads of 45 because I hadn't been using any the other pistol I had, and that was very, very good and a lot of fun to use as well. Now, the cutter is actually a pretty good weapon up close. Especially when you're killing animals and bugs and things like that. Get your cutter out and zap it. It's good against robots as well, as long as you're close, especially in the early game. Fiscal Quarter, I found this one. Now, this one only does damage of 5, but this one had an armour breaker. What do they call it? Shattering. Break through the strongest armour. Had a scope on it, compensated tactical grip, arm-piercing rounds, hair trigger. High fire rate, again, 180, and was actually a lot of fun to use. I enjoyed using the Fiscal Quarter. I stopped using it kind of late game because it wasn't really powerful enough, but good. Now, the Grendel. Now, the Grendel can be alright. Used it a lot early game and then stopped using it later on. I've got one in my pack, really just in case I end up with the Surfeit 7.7mm ammo and I haven't got another weapon. Keyholer. This interesting pistol, These use .43 MI. And this one's got a load of perks on it. Small chance to stagger enemies, berserker, frenzy, and this sort of stuff. Fully automatic. However, it kind of dumps an entire clip at once. So it's got a 6-round mag, and you pull the trigger and it goes brrrp, I guess because it's fully automatic. So quite good up close, but loads of recoil. So you really need to get close and aim at the enemy's midriff, and then dump the whole round mag into them. Lacerated Razorback, actually didn't get a chance to use this one very much. Plus 20% damage against robots. Again, probably should have used it. Nova Blast Disruptor. Now, this is an EM weapon, and the idea with these is they're good against robots and good at taking down humans in a non-lethal way. Didn't use it very much, to be honest, apart from when I had to use it in one mission. The Old Earth Hunting Rifle, VSS. Great fun, this. Not that much damage, but again, this is semi-automatic, I think, but really good. It got a really good long-range scope on it, and does quite a lot of damage at long range as well. So this was great for when I was coming up to areas, like an abandoned facility that had a load of enemies around it, and I could just pick them off at distance with this thing. Really good fun to use. Good and fun to use. The Orion. This was my go-to laser rifle for much of the game. Late game, the lasers didn't seem to be quite as effective, but the idea was that you would use lasers against shields, because lasers are better against shield, then switch to ballistics against people. But I did use it quite a lot, mainly because you end up with loads of laser ammunition. Dagger, I don't write off the melee combat in Starfield. It is good. You get in close and you can have a lot of fun, especially if you get the right weapon. This one hasn't got it, but some of the swords you pick up will do more damage the more attacks you do. So you can get in and you can really take enemies down quickly. Just watch out for shielded enemies and high power enemies, because obviously if they melee you, they can do an awful lot of damage. Now, the twin barrel shotgun, the Coachman, there's lots of different ones you'll pick up of these. This one does quite a lot of damage, 158, and I was kind of forced to use a less powerful Coachman in the end game because I was just running out of bullets. But as long as you embrace your jetpack and you bounce around, these are okay because they do loads of damage up close. You can empty basically both barrels very, very quickly, and then you need to get out of the way to reload, because if you've done much combat in Starfield, you know that your reload animation can be interrupted very, very easily. So you need to make sure you get out of the way, reload when you're bouncing in the air, and then hit them again, and it works very well that way. The Equinox, this is a more powerful laser rifle that I didn't really get to use. I would have used that probably in space of the Orion if I'd had a chance. And the Revenant, now the Revenant, oh, this is a mean weapon. So if we look at the front of it, basically what it does is it fires in that grid. All those bullets come out at once, at least I think they do. So it just melts even the hardest of enemies. However, what that also means is that it melts through your ammo really, really quickly. So what I did with the Revenant is I made sure that I kept it in reserve for the hardest of enemies. So if there was an enemy that I was just having terrible trouble with all my other weapons, I would get the Revenant out, run up to them, and just take them down. And this version's really good as well because it's got extended magazine, lacerate, titanium build to make it light as a feather, short barrel, muzzle brake, and high velocity. So it was very, very useful, very impressive. If you could have enough ammo, I would have probably used this one all the time, but you simply couldn't. My favourite weapon of all, if you were to say what are all of them, I'd have to say probably the Beowulf. This Beowulf, even though it's fairly nondescript, it's like a DMR, you know, loads of damage, semi-automatic, and got the job done. Okay, well, hopefully that's useful. If it has been, hit like, put your favourite weapons in the description down below, and of course I'll see you again soon.